Are the Broncos going to trade up in the first round? That's the question that everybody's asking. This is your Denver Sports Daily for April 22nd.
The biggest stories, the latest news. It's Denver Sports Daily.
The draft is now just 2 days away, and the rumors are starting to get crazier and crazier. And this rumor is one of them. Now, clearly the Broncos are eyeing a running back. That's obvious. We know this. And for most of the draft process, it's been Omarion Hampton. That's been the guy that everybody's been talking about as the reasonable pick for the Broncos at number 20. That's who I want. I want Omarion Hampton. And then you start bringing up things like this. Are the Broncos going to trade up? And, the rumor wasn't really here very largely until yesterday when Adam Schefter came out with a report stating that the Broncos had made inquiries about moving up in the first round. Now that brings up one name, Ashton Jeanty. That's the first name that comes to mind when you hear this news. Now, a case can be made for Colston Loveland, but with Evan Ingram on the team now, it's much more likely they would opt for a running back over another tight end, especially if they're going to trade up and give up future draft capital. Now, Jeanty would be an incredible pickup. He's uber athletic, a Heisman runner-up, a clear top 10 pick, but would it be worth it for the Broncos to give up a large amount of draft picks for a running back when they could easily settle for one later in any round? Honestly, what would they have to give up at this point? And would it be worth it? Because, next year's draft isn't great. There's opportunities there. Now, this draft is stacked with running backs. It's widely regarded as the deepest running back class of the decade, so it doesn't make much sense to trade up when you could honestly trade down and still get a decent back. That's just where my mindset is at, and I get it. You want the best player available. You want the best player that for the position that you're looking at. Ashton Jeanty is that guy. There's no contesting that. Ashton Jeanty is the best running back of this class, and this class is stacked with running backs. So I get it. I get the idea of you want the best of the best, especially when you're trying to rebuild a team. But I still have that stigma, that stigma against taking running backs in the first round. They're injury prone. They age out much quicker than other positions. You don't give up future draft capital. You don't give up future picks to get somebody who's going to be out of the league in very well 10 years. Jeanty could be amazing for those 10 years. But 10 years of a great player is not worth giving up future opportunities to have a lifelong great player. Now, what we do know is that Sean Payton has to have what he likes. And if he truly thinks that Jeanty is the best choice, if that's his guy, he's going to move the heaven and the earth to get him. He's going to. You can't contest that. He wanted to do it for Bo Nix. He didn't have to. He liked Bo Nix. He ended up getting him. But people were saying that Bo Nix could have gone in the second round. And Sean Payton went out there and took him with the 12th pick. So things like that happen. I wouldn't put it past Sean Payton to move up into the top 5 to try to get Ashton Jeanty. But don't do that. Please, I'm begging. Do not move up into the top 5 to get a running back. Especially, first of all, don't do that anyways. Second of all, there's going to be running backs at the 20th spot. There's going to be running backs in the second, third, fourth round. You can get a running back whenever you want one. Heck, Cam Scatterbo will be there in the 7th round. Take a chance on him. Don't give up future picks just to get a guy who we know, yes, is going to be good. But is it worth it? It's not. It's just not worth it. It's going to take way too much. It's not going to pay off the way that it should pay off. And honestly, you look at the league, yes, running backs have had a resurgence, but a great running back does not win you a team or win you a Super Bowl. It doesn't. You can have the best running back of all time, and you just don't win a Super Bowl. You look like some of the best running backs of all time. Adrian Peterson comes to mind. Never won a Super Bowl. You can't, put all your chips on one running back and expect that to be what gets you over the hump. Because honestly, the Broncos were still successful last season without a good running back. It's not worth it. It's not worth it in my eyes. Now, moving on, the Nuggets suffered a heartbreaking loss in Game 2 of the first round of the NBA playoffs. Now, the Nuggets had 2 chances to tie up the game with the last possession of the game, but unfortunately, Christian Brown and Nikola Jokic missed their 3-point attempts, and the Nuggets ended up losing 105-102. Terrible, terrible game. Unfortunate that it had to end like that. And Nikola Jokic recorded a 26-point, 12-rebound, and 10-assist triple-double because, of course, he did. Playoff triple-doubles are just what he does. And on the surface, that seems like a great game, and it sucks to hold Jokic accountable for a loss like this, but he had 7 turnovers. And some of them came at really poor times, especially one towards the end of the game where he drove it into the post and then passed it out to a turnover, giving the ball to Kawhi Leonard with 30 seconds left in the game. You got to hold the greats accountable. And Nikola Jokic, he can't get away with everything. 7 turnovers in a playoff game is terrible. It's terrible. And that's what leads you to losing a game. In the first game of the series, in game 1 back on Saturday, the Nuggets had 29 points off of turnovers. They completely took down the Clippers because they were creating turnovers and then scoring off of them. The script flipped yesterday. They gave the ball away, and they ended up losing because of it. Now, Michael Porter Jr. had a bounce-back game, notching 15 points and 15 rebounds, which paired nicely with Jamal Murray's 23 points and 6 assists. Those two guys played at a very high level. Michael Porter Jr., 15 and 15. That's what he should be doing every single game. I mean, this guy is 6'10", super athletic. He should be able to notch at least 12 boards a game and score at a high clip, and that's what he did. But unfortunately, their efforts were in vain. They ended up losing again. Now, the Nuggets started off the first quarter hot. They outscored LA 31-25, but then they were outscored 30-21 in the second quarter, which was capped off by a Kawhi Leonard buzzer beater that put the Clippers up 55-52 heading into the second half. Now, dropping home games is one thing the Nuggets cannot do in their championship run or in their future championship run. And if you do want to talk about championship runs, let's go back a couple years ago when they only lost 1 home game throughout the entirety of the playoffs. They have to play like that. They cannot drop home games. The Mile High, Ball Arena is known as one of the hardest places to play at. You heard Anthony Edwards talk about it when they asked him the other night. Anthony Edwards is playing LA, and they asked him, how hard was it to play in LA? And he said, it's not hard. I've played in Denver. You got to hold that kind of standard. You still do. You can't be giving up home games, especially this early in the playoffs. And again, if you want to go back to that championship run, the only home game they lost was won in the finals. It came in the last series of the entire thing. So they need to keep winning home games if they keep giving up home games like this, if they give up another one in game 5, they could be a first round exit. Now, the Nuggets and Clippers do battle again this Thursday when they travel to LA for games 3 and 4. This series is going to be insane. I mean, you're looking at 2 games right now that have been decided by 5 points. It's a 5-point differential. And with the Nuggets winning by 2 and the Clippers winning by 3, it is a 1-point score differential through the first 2 games. This is going to be an incredible series. Now, moving on, as if one heartbreaker wasn't enough, the Avalanche followed up the Nuggets' loss with an overtime loss to the Dallas Stars. It's like they totally flipped the script from Saturday with the Nuggets winning in overtime and the Avalanche just completely dominating to now Nuggets losing and then the Avalanche losing in overtime. Now, the Avs had all the momentum heading into this game, coming off the back of a 5-1 win on Saturday, but sadly, they weren't able to take game 2 away from the Stars in Dallas. Nathan MacKinnon kicked off the scoring for the game, notching the first goal midway through the first period, but that was then followed up by a goal from Tyler Seguin to even up the score heading into the second. It was all even up going into the second period. Then Jack Drury and Logan O'Connor both scored after another goal from the Stars in the second, looking like they could pull away with another win as they head into the third period with a 3-2 lead. But the Stars were able to score again in the third, and the Avs had a chance to win the game as they were on a power play for the last minute and a half of regulation, but they couldn't get it done, which sent the game to overtime. You couldn't ask for more. Overtime hockey in the playoffs. Avalanche versus Stars. It was a great overtime. It was one of, if not the most intense overtime period I've ever watched. Both teams were going back and forth, and it seemed like we were going to get a second overtime period, but that was until Colin Blackwell got his own rebound and scored over Mackenzie Blackwood's left shoulder with only 2 minutes remaining. Unfortunate loss. Unfortunate 4-3 overtime loss in the playoffs. It just can't happen like that. And honestly, if there's one thing I took away from this game, it's that these teams hate each other. There was so much energy in this building, it felt like the roof was going to blow off. The amount of different squabbles from start to finish was too many to count on your fingers. It was incredible. Every single time the puck stopped or play stopped, the 2 players are going at it. They had to get refs in there every single time to stop it. They would just hate each other. These 2 matchups, you talk about the Nuggets and the Clippers and the Avalanche and the Stars, they got energy. There's energy between these 2 teams, or these 4 teams, and it's going to be fun from start to finish. Now, there was some good news, though, that came out of this game, and it was the news that Gabe Landeskog was lifted from IR and suited up for practice. Landeskog was then benched for the game, but there's a very good chance that we see Gabe back on the ice when the Avs are back at Ball Arena tomorrow. I can't even fathom that it's actually happened. I mean, I've talked so many times about how I don't think Gabe is actually going to come back. And here he is suiting up, getting ready to play. Unfortunately, again, he did sit, but he very well could be back tomorrow. Now, luckily, the Avs are getting to play in Denver tomorrow for the next 2 games of the series, and they should be able to take the Stars down in both games on home ice. I mean, that's what you have to do. You've got to win your home ice games. Same thing with the Nuggets. You got to win your home games. And that should be a good sign for the Avalanche that they took one away from Dallas in Dallas. They just got to keep bringing that energy when they come back to Denver. Now, that's going to do it for your Denver Sports Daily. I do want to read some of your comments. Trading up would be a mistake. Yes, trading up is not anything that I want to see. If anything, you could convince me much earlier to trade down. I would be much more open to trading down and getting a running back in the second round rather than trading up, going for somebody like Ashton Jeanty. I'm just not here for it. I don't want to see it. The Patriots are sitting there at 4 and the Jaguars at 5. Both of these teams as a QB, so they could take Jeanty. Exactly. That's the thing. How far would you have to trade up to get Ashton Jeanty? There are teams all around the board that might want to get somebody like Ashton Jeanty. You don't want to have to trade up to the top 3 spot. And at that point, if you do trade up into the top 3, get Travis Hunter. Your eyes shouldn't be on Ashton Jeanty. They should be on a Travis Hunter. So that's the thing. If you're going to have to trade up to 3 anyways, it's not even worth it. It's not even worth it for Jeanty. It's just, there's just so many red flags when looking at trading up for, Ashton Jeanty. Let's see. How much would the Denver Broncos have to give up to get Boise State running back? Because I don't want to give the draft away. Yeah, no, I get it. No, you don't want to. What you'd probably have to give up is this year's 20th, a next year first, and probably a next year third, honestly. If you want to move up into the top 5, you'd have to give up maybe even more. And it's just not worth it. You've given up 2 firsts and a third to move up into the top 5 for a chance at drafting Ashton Jeanty. And that's the thing people forget about too. When you move up into the top 5 or into that 5th spot, let's just say the 5th spot, you're only guaranteed the 5th best player. That's it. You're only guaranteed the 5th best player. Who says that Ashton Jeanty, and I know this won't happen, who's to say Ashton Jeanty won't go first or second? Nobody can tell. The draft is a crapshoot. We could go out on Thursday and everybody could be surprised that Ashton Jeanty becomes the 1st overall pick. Again, it's not worth it. It would take so much to get him. Yeah, it's not worth it. So many good backs, no need to trade up. I agree. Stay down. That's what I'm saying. Cam Scatterbo was projected to go in the 7th round, and I don't really like Cam Scatterbo, but hey, if you really need a running back, there are running backs available. Now, that's going to do it for your Denver Sports Daily. I'll be back with you guys again tomorrow, previewing a big Avalanche game. Need to get a win on home ice tomorrow. It is the most important thing for the Avalanche. Games 3 and games 5 are the most important games of 7-game series, and they need to go out there and win tomorrow. It's going to be big. And then, of course, one day, tomorrow marks 24 hours until the NFL draft. I cannot believe it's finally here. I feel like I'm dreaming right now. But I will see you guys all tomorrow. Until then, y'all have a great rest of your day. Bye, y'all.